already, my name is Colin29. Welcome back to another video. Today in this one is going to be another tier list video, and in this one it's going to be my tier list on meta staple cards post April 2025 ban list. Yeah, so starting off, I will say this is probably way too early to be making this video because we're literally in the third day of this format at the time of this video being released. So we have a somewhat idea what the format's going to be, but it's still really early to say. But when it comes to meta staple cards itself, not that many things really change. A lot of the generic cards will still be played a lot, but there are some exceptions to those cards, and we'll get to those cards once we get to them. I wanted to do this tier list video on meta decks, but I was like, that's way too early. We're gonna wait for some regional results to happen this weekend, and then we'll cover the meta decks next weekend, so look out for that video on my channel. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the tier list, shall we? So our tier list things here, so we have most main decks, some main decks, most side decks, some side decks, and of course niche. So yeah, without further ado, we'll start off with the hand traps and then move more towards the board breakers after that. So starting off with the Charmy card. So again, Fuwalos is still going to be in most main decks. This is pretty much our max C of in the TCG, just because it's the best max C replacement for us. So yeah, pretty much going to be in most side decks, or most main decks, sorry. Yeah, the ban list didn't really change anything for that. Yeah, this had a chance of maybe getting hit on the ban list, but it didn't. So yeah, most main decks for sure. Just a very, very powerful card. The only problem with this is it sucks going first, but you will deal with it. But yeah, very, very good card. You're going to see this in most main decks. Sometimes is just a turn ender as well. So very, very good card. Deserves to be in most main decks. But how about the rest of the Charmies? Pirellia. I think this is probably going to be in most side decks. This was moving towards most side decks, moving later into the last format, but now, especially since we're going to, it looks to be a little bit more of a diverse format since the top decks got knocked down a peg or two. I still think they're probably the best, like Rizal and Malice are probably still going to be one of the better decks of the next format. I think a lot of rogue decks are going to be coming up as well, and I think Pirellia has a really good rogue matchup kind of check. It checks the blue eye stuff and stuff like that. It's really, really good card. I think you're going to see this in most side decks for sure. It's just a very powerful card as well. So yeah, most side decks for sure. And then Charmy Meows. This one has kind of fallen off. This was supposed to be the Malice kind of Charmy card, but I think a lot of people just move towards just playing a Chaos Hunter instead of playing Lancia, because this gives them the option to still play through it, and a lot of people are on Ash, so the Ash can also stop this card. So we're gonna move this to some side decks. I don't think it's really the greatest in the world. Technically you can hit the Fiendsmith stuff. I expect Fiendsmith to be played a lot as well because it didn't get hit whatsoever on the ban list. But I don't know, it's the worst of the Charmies for sure. You might see it in some side decks, but I just don't think it's really in the right place, especially if we're moving to more of a diverse format. This really only hits Malice and maybe Fiendsmith, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, I think this is pretty much going to be in some side decks. You're not going to see it on every side deck though. Now onto the more non-Charmy hand traps. We have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and I'm sorry, this goes into most main decks as well. Couple reasons. One, it stops the Charmies, which a lot of people want to be stopping these Charmies, and since something like Crossout Designator got limited on the last list, Ash Blossom becomes your, stop to the Charmies. So I think this is for sure going to be in most main decks. Still a very powerful card out of itself. It doesn't have to stop a Charmy. Can pretty much stop a lot of stuff in the format. It's not the most impactful, but again, the fact that it's able to stop the Charmies, I think it deserves to be in most main decks. I think you're going to see Ash way more than Fuwalos in the next format too. Spooky Dogwood, this is always just a time card. I'm always going to just put it in some side decks. A lot of people do worry about time. But if you're, I don't know, I don't play into time that often, so it's not really a card I really think about. But it's a hand trap that plays into time. So you're going to see this in some side decks, but not necessarily played just because it's a hand trap. It's just there because time exists. Ghost Bell in Haunted Mansion. Yeah, I don't know. This card doesn't feel that great. I really want to just put it in niche. It's okay. Against Labyrinth, it's okay because it can still hit the big. Against Fiendsmith, it's okay, but I think there's just better cards you would play than this. I don't know. I think Ghost Bell is just not in a great position right now. I could definitely be wrong. Again, third day in the format. I'm doing this video really, really early. I probably should wait for some results to happen, but I don't know. I just feel like Ghost Bell isn't really in a good place right now. Don't get me wrong. Still a very, very, very good hand trap. I just don't think it's in the right position right now. We're going to put it in niche. Ghost Org and Snow Rabbit. So this was moving more towards a lot of popularity in the last format, especially towards the end. With Blue Eyes coming into format, it's still able to hit the Detonator, or not Detonator, Duo Drive and stuff like that. It's a solid card. I don't know. I think you still might see this in some main decks. I think it kind of, I don't know. This is a little bit of a weirder card. It might fall off a little bit more, just because it doesn't really hit like a lot of rogue matchups that hard. But like if Yugioh becomes a little bit more popular because Yugioh didn't get hit whatsoever, maybe Ghost Story keeps seeing play. I'm gonna put it in some main decks because it still hits the duo drive. It still hits the Blue Eyes matchup pretty well. And like if Yugioh becomes more popular in this next format, it can go into we can hit that matchup as well. I think we're gonna keep this in some main decks for sure. Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. This was a card that was gaining popularity later into the last format just because a lot of people were playing the Metaltronus with like the detonator things and like just targets for the Metaltronus. And it turns out if you're playing targets for Metaltronus, you might as well just be playing the Ghost Reapers as well in your extra deck. But I think again, since it looks like we're going to be moving toward a more diverse format than the last format was going to be, I think this will probably fall off a little bit more. I think this probably goes to some side decks because I think people, if like Rizal still becomes like the more popular version or the most popular deck in the format, then like this was obviously used for that as well. Like Reapers is a kind of cool card, but I think it's better than Niche, but I think it's only going to be in some main decks. I think it's better than probably better than Spooky Dogwood, but honestly it's an okay, especially going into like first weekend of like of the format, it probably won't be seeing as much play. Effect Veiler, I hate this card. I don't know, I just don't like this card. This is always like the worst hand trap to me, to be honest with you, unless I'm playing Blue Eyes, like Blue Eyes, but that's because Blue Eyes can search this card. I don't know, I really don't like Veiler as much anymore. I think I'm going to put that in some main decks. I usually put it in most main decks because it's still just a generic hand trap, but I'm going to put it in some main decks. I think it's better than Ghost Orc, so I will do that, but I don't know, I'm not a fan of Effect Veiler. I really ain't, and honestly I haven't seen that many lists playing Veiler as well, unless you're like playing like 20 hand traps or something like that. But like if you're on like a condensed like 12 to 13 hand traps, then Veiler doesn't really make the cut a lot of the times in those types of decks. So I'm gonna put it in some main decks, but honestly not a fan of Effect Veiler, so I'm just putting my opinion out there. Imperm though, this is definitely in most main decks. I think it's actually it's probably not better than Ash right now just because Ash can hit the Charmies, but Imperm still just a really good card. I think this is the reason why I hate Veiler, is because Imperm exists, is because Imperm is just a better Effect Veiler. It's a trap, so it doesn't play into the triple tactic cards. It's not bad as a 6 card, so if you draw it as your 6, you can still at least activate it, right? Compared to Veiler, which is not activatable going second, or if you draw it for your 6 card, sorry. So yeah, I think Imperm is just a really good card. It deserves to be in most main decks for sure. One of the top 3 hand traps in the format. Droll and Lockbird. So this is the one I really wanted to talk about. So Droll is always one of those cards, especially when we are early into formats where it seems really powerful, and then the later in the format we get, it gets a lot worse. But last format was kind of the exception. We got later into the format, and it turned out Droll was still pretty solid going later into the format. And now that we're entering a new format, I think Droll gets a lot better as well. So I think a lot of people are going to be in most main decks, especially if they don't have the Charmy cards. Like if they're not like main decking Fularos or something, I think Droll becomes that card for them, because Droll is just a cheaper version of what Fularos is. Maybe not anymore. Fularos does get the reprint in Stampede, but Droll is just a very powerful card. It also starts the Charmies as well, so if you lose to a Charmy, you can like Droll them after the first draw of a Charmy and still at least play your game right. That's if you don't search that many times in your combo though. I don't know, I think this card will be in most main decks. I know it does conflict with the Charmy, so like you probably have to decide on one or the other. But Droll, I think, will be a very powerful card in the next format, especially since we're coming off a format where it was good as well. Nibiru the Primal Being. This card's in a weird position because it wasn't really that great in the last format, and none of the Fiendsmith stuff got hit, so I think it honestly is not that great in this format, because Fiendsmith being able to make the DD and stuff like that, being able to check the Nibiru is what kind of made Nibiru like kind of not that good, especially like if you're versing Pier, they can just make a duo drive first, get the cross in, and prevents the Nibiru. So I'm actually going to only put this in some main decks. It's still a good card, don't get me wrong. I think if you draw this with other hand traps, it's really good, but if you only draw Nibiru by itself, but it's not really that great. So you're going to see this in some main decks for sure, but I don't think you're going to see this in most main decks. I think other hand traps are just better than it right now. Shifter, bye-bye, Shifter. Fuck you, Shifter. I'm so glad you are now at 1, but if you're going to play it, you're going to play it in some main decks for sure. But the fact that this is at 1 makes it where you're going to see it way less. It's going to be that Saki 1 of, which is really going to suck, but I'm so glad this card is at 1. Fuck this card. It should be banned. To be honest with you, this card should be banned, but I'm glad it's at 1. But if you're playing a deck that can play Shifter, you're going to play Shifter, so it's going to be in some main deck still. You're never going to see this in the side deck, because if the deck can play Shifter, it's going to play Shifter in the main deck for sure. Oh, my bad. I apologize about that. All right, Gamma. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. You're still in some side decks, man. If you weren't at 1, I think you would be so much better. But the fact that you're at 1 right now is what makes you terrible, because you have to play the brick in Driver. I think it's a very, very powerful hand trap. I think it's like up here. But, yeah, it's just the fact that it's at 1 is what makes it put it into some side decks. Delta is kind of in the same situation. Not that many people are on Delta anymore, but if you are on it, you're going to be side decking it. It's going to be in some side decks for sure. Artifact Lancia. So, Malice did get hit. They got hit pretty hard as well. Like, no more Link Decoder, no more Nightmare Griffin. You know, your 2 best, or the 3 best starters in your deck with the Field Spell, Dormouse, and White Rabbit are now at 2. But you do got Circular as well. I guess that's a plus. Lancia was kind of the out. I think people are still going to be scared enough of Malice going into this next format that they're still going to put this in most side decks. Yeah, I think Chaos Hunter was like going alongside of it. I think this very much falls off now, like to niche, to be honest with you, just because Lancia is the out. I don't know. I'll still put it in some side decks. I'm not going to disrespect Chaos Hunter. People are on Chaos Hunter, but the fact that Malice did get hit pretty hard on the last ban list, I think people will put Lancia for sure, just because Lancia is still Lancia. People are still scared of Malice, but I think they're going to stop playing 6 outs to Malice. I think they're just going to cut down to the 3 Lancias and then take out the Chaos Hunters and put more generic cards, because again, since we are moving more toward a diverse format, Chaos Hunter is only for specific decks, and since we are moving to a diverse format, I think Chaos Hunter does fall off. Again, Lancia is fine because Lancia can be activated. The Chaos Hunter, you have to discard a card and stuff like that. I think this is I think this is a fine position for me to put it at. I think it's probably better than Spooky Dogwood, though. Bestial. Again, this is for every Bestial. So the best Bestials in Magnuma and Druisworm are now at 1. So have fun with that. But I think they're still very powerful, especially, again, since Fiendsmith did not get hit. The Bestials are very good out to that. But again, the good Bestials in Druisworm and Magna are now at 1. You have to play the bad ones. If you want to play more, you have to play the quote-unquote bad ones. They're still very good, but compared to what Druisworm and Magna do, they're bad. Baldrake and Sornir is what I'm talking about. So if you want to play more Bestials, you have to play those cards, which is not terrible. A lot of people, Baldrake is still it's still a very good card. I think Sornir is probably the worst one out of the bunch, though. Where would I put the Bestials, though? Some main decks. Maybe you'll see them in the side decks. I don't know. Bestials are in a weird position. I don't know. This is one of those things, like, I truly don't know until we start getting results for the regional. So this can pretty much go anywhere, but I'm going to put a safe bet on it, and people are still going to main deck the 1 Magna and the 1 Druisworm, because they're still just very powerful cards. Their bodies as well, and especially going into a diverse format, it could be a little weird, but there's a lot of light and dark decks in the format. So I don't know. I'm going to put this in some main decks still for sure. DD Crow is just a worse version of Bestials. I'm going to put it in some side decks, though. I think Ghost Bell and the Haunted Mansion, it could be down here, to be honest with you. It really could. Yeah, because the problem with these cards, if you're going to play these type of cards, you might as well just play the Bestials. The Bestials are just better than it. So yeah, I'm going to put this in niche for now. Token Collector, same situation. No one's in like, summoning tokens kind of mood right now. So it's very much in niche. Dominus Purge and Dominus Impulse. You guys go to some main decks. If obviously the deck that can play this will be main decking it, but not every deck can play these cards. So I'm not going to put it in most main decks and stuff like that. Again, you have to be playing a specific deck for these cards to get the value. But if you are playing that deck, you are for sure playing the Dominus cards. Impulse and like Malice and Labyrinth are going to be very powerful. Dominus Purge and something like, I think Odeon can play Purge. Blue Eyes can play Purge and stuff like that. Very, very good cards. Yeah, for sure. They're going to be in some main decks. I'm only playing them some because, again, you have to be playing the specific type of decks for these to work. But if you are playing those decks, you're for sure playing these cards. Rescue Ace Impulse. Charmies exists. I'm sorry. It's in niche. Phantasme. It's better than Impulse. I'll put it in some side decks because Phantasme is still a solid card and the target protection does matter. But again, the Charmies exist. And if you're going to play this, you might as well just play the Charmies instead. This is more of just a budget-friendly option compared to what the Charmies are. I'm going to put this a little bit more up here, though. I'm going to put it up here. That's fine. Singularity Fiend. This is a card that I will talk about on this channel one day. I will make a video specifically talking about this card. Right now, it's in niche, but it very much has the potential to be a good hand trap. It probably won't be anytime soon, but it will. I do think it will have the potential one day of being a very good hand trap. But as of right now, it's going to be in niche for sure. Contact C, sorry, SP exists. I don't know. This is in niche. You're not going to really see this that much. Marionette Might, any cards that are like Marionette Might, very much goes to niche as well. We still have so many cards to talk about. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hurry this up, but my God, there's so many cards we have to talk about. Now into the more board breakers type of stuff. Crossout Designator, you're at 1 now. Thank the fucking Lord. Fuck this card. I'm so glad this card is at 1. This is a little bit of a weird kind of card. Now that it's at 1, I think it sees a lot less play. Because, again, if you're going to be playing Crossout, you want to play like the targets for Crossout. Now, to be fair, the targets for Crossout are just hand traps, so it's not the worst thing in the world. But, like, I don't know. I don't know where Crossout's going to be. Crossout's at one of those weird cards. Now that it's at 1, maybe it doesn't see that much play in the next format. I'm not going to lie to you. This is in a weird position. Really weird position where I don't know where to put Crossout at, to be honest with you. Because I could see people main decking it just as like a one-of in the deck, kind of like Called by the Grave. But I can also just see people just not play it, to be honest with you, just because it is at 1 now. I'm going to put it here. It's a little bit of a weird position. I know most side decks might be a little weird. I just can't really decide my mind on it right now. So this is one of those cards. Again, we're just going to have to see where the format goes for me to make my final decision on it. But it's weird. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe up here, like some main decks where they're just as a random one of for you guys as well. Called by the Grave. Yeah, this deserves to be most main decks, to be honest. No, because I'm putting Crossout there. Yeah, Called by is going to be here. Sorry, I know my camera's blocking off this most main deck thing now. I apologize about that. Called by is kind of just the same position as Crossout Designator. I think it's going to be in some main decks. Triple Tactic Talents, it's also at 1 now, but I also think it's going to deserve to be in most main decks. Even though Talents is a very, very powerful card, but now it's at 1, again, it's still a very powerful card. And unlike Called by and Crossout, this has, you know, good things going second. Not only can you use it going first, you know, punish your opponent for hand trapping you, but going second, you're able to take opponent's monster, or you can draw 2 cards. It's a very, very powerful card. I think it deserves to be in most main decks. Even though it's at 1, I think people will just play it as a one-of, because that's just how powerful Triple Tactic Talents is. Triple Tactic Thrust is probably going to be in most side decks for sure. Again, I don't think it's main deck worthy. There's very, 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 very rare exceptions to people playing this in the main deck. But like Unchained comes up to example. Maybe like if you're on the Striker Malice version of the deck, you'll probably main deck this as well. But I think a lot of people are just going to be side decking this card in the next format. Castria Fenrir. Again, don't know where to put this one. I think as an engine, the Castria stuff is cool. Especially Unicorn got a lot better with Detonator going to 1. But as Fenrir just as like a going second kind of like staple card, it's rough to say. I think you just have to play the Castria as an engine, not as just like Unicorn or Fenrir by itself. I'm still gonna put it in most main, or no, because if you're not gonna side deck Fenrir, if you're gonna play it, you're gonna main deck it. Yeah, I'm gonna put it up here for now, just in some main decks. Pankratops, I'm sorry, you're niche. I'm sorry. It's just, I wish you were better. You're at 3 now, but like, I don't know. It's just rough. You're a niche. Lava Golem is specifically for some side decks. You have to be playing a very specific version. Maybe Labyrinth exactly can take advantage of this, but that's pretty much it. You'll probably see it in some side decks. Kaiju's kind of the same situation. This is probably even more towards niche, to be honest with you. Curry Divine Carnate, it's kind of the same situation with the Kaiju, I think, and it's actually probably worse than a Kaiju, to be honest with you right now, so we're going to put this in niche. The book cards, I think Eclipse will probably be side decked a lot. Again, going more towards like a diverse format and like just it being a generic ass value card is nice. I think it will probably be in the side deck somewhere. Book of Moon is very much in a niche card. It only hits maybe it's in some side decks. Yeah, I think that's probably a fine position to put the book cards. I think Eclipse might be really, really good next format. You know what? I also think will probably very, very good next format. Forbidden Droplet, please. Shifter is now at 1. I think Droplet gets so much more value going into the next format. I can see people main decking this card. I'm going to put it like up here right now. Again, I'm sorry, the camera is blocking a lot of the stuff in the some main deck category. I'll move my camera at the end of the video there. But yeah, I think Droplet is very, very, very good going into the next format, especially since Shifter no longer exists, or well, it's at 1, so it's a lot less likely for you to see it. So I think Droplet gets more value going into especially a diverse format kind of thing as well. Dark Ruler no more. I think it's just niche. Super Poly, maybe some side decks. It's a very powerful card, but it just depends on what people are ending on and stuff like that. Ultimate Slayer, I can still see a lot of people side decking Ultimate Slayer. Ultimate Slayer is a really, really good card. Metal Tronus, this is one of those weird cards. Going into a diverse format could be a lot worse now, because the reason why it was good, because you're expecting diverse Rizal or Malice, and you can just play the targets for that, and that's why Reapers got pretty good as well. But now going into a probably more diverse format as well, I think this is probably most side decks. I think this card is still very powerful, and it still has the potential to go up here, but I think you're going to see it in the side deck for the early part of this format. Herald of the Abyss is just terrible. I'm sorry. The Change of Heart cards are also just not in a good position right now, so we're going to put this in niche as well. Same thing with Econ. Again, you have to tribute a card to do that as well. I just don't think it's in a really good position unless you're playing exactly like Voiceless Voice to tribute Diviner, and that's pretty much it. Regeki and Dark Hole, I'll put it in some side decks just because they are board wipes, but it just depends on what people are ending on as well. Cosmic Cyclone, I think, will get a little bit better. I think I'll put this in some side decks because I think there's better back row removal. But Cosmic is a for sure option. And speaking of those back rows removals, Lightning Storm and Feather Duster for sure will get side decked, especially with Odeon being in the format as well. These are just very, very powerful cards. I think a lot of people recognize going more towards the end of the format, this isn't just an Odeon hit. Also hits Rizal, also hits Malice, which is really, really good as well. Evenly Match, I think, also has the very good potential of being in most side decks as well. Again, the only problem with these cards is that Fiendsmith does exist, and Desiree is just a generic out as well to these cards. But I think they do have the potential to be in most side decks. D-Barrier, most side decks as well. The fact that this card didn't get hit is probably the most annoying part about it. They hit Shifter, they hit Dweller, Griffin, they hit a lot of like Floodgate cards, but they didn't hit the D-Barrier, which I wish they did hit. I think this is the one thing they did miss with the ban list. Daruma Cannon is probably in some side decks. It's okay. DDG, again, is probably going to be in some side decks. Again, a lot of these cards are your thrust target kind of thing going first. It's going to be in some side decks. Anti-Spell, also, it's a Floodgate. I'm going to put it in some side decks because we didn't really see this that much in the last format. Skill Drain, kind of the same thing. Tikaboo, like all the traps, Floodgates are at 1, and like a lot of these aren't even the greatest in the world either. You put it in some side decks. Okay, so that is it. Let me put my, okay, it's actually all the way. I think you can see everything now. Okay, so I kind of rushed towards the end of that just because I didn't want this video to be too long, but I know that it's already at like 24 minutes, so it's pretty much been a long time. But yeah, this is pretty much my tier list going into this format. Most main decks, Ash, Imperm, Fool Ross, Droll, Talents, I think is a pretty good stuff, to be fair with that. Some main decks, again, since we're entering a largely diverse format, it could be a lot of this stuff. Valor, Ghost Orc, Nib, Shifter, if you're able to play Shifter. The Bestials, Droplet, I think has very good potential going in the next format. The Dominus cards, Castria, like, as an engine, I'm putting this as more as the engine and not just Fenrir by itself. Like, Unicorn, I think it's a lot better because Detonator is at 1. Called by and Cross Out Designator. Probably going to be in some main decks. Most side decks, Pirellia, Lancia, Thrust, Book of Eclipse, Ultimate Slayer, Metal Tronus, Lightning Storm, Feather Duster, Evenly Match, and D-Barrier. Again, Metal Tronus probably has the potential to go up here, but going into a diverse format, it just, like, it depends on how the format shakes out for Metal Tronus. Some side decks, Meows, Cosmic Cyclone, Phantasme, Gamma, Delta, Ghost Reapers, and Winter Cherries, Chaos Hunter, Spooky Dogwood, Lava Golem, Book of Moon, Super Poly, Regeki, Dark Hole, Daruma Cannon, DDG, Anti-Spell, Skill Drain, Tikaboo, Rivalry, and Gozen Match. I think there's really no... yeah, I think that's pretty much fine to go in some side decks. And for niche, again, not saying they're bad, I'm just saying... For this format, they're not the greatest in the world. Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, DD Crow, Token Collector, Rescue Ace Impulse. Singularity Fiend has potential. Again, I will talk about this card on this channel probably in the upcoming weeks. Contact C, Marionette Might, or any card that's like Marionette Might. Pankratops, Kaiju, the same thing, Curry card, Divine Incarnate. Dark Ruler No More, the Change of Heart cards, Mind Control, Change of Heart, Snatch Steal. Herald of the Abyss is also terrible as well, with with Econ kind of just being with the same thing with the Change of Heart card. So yeah, that is it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe for more content on the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.